Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Radio Apni Waz. This is your Sunday show with your host Abu Musa, and this show goes live to all of you listening brothers and sisters, and also to all the listeners of Micah Radio. Assalamu alaikum to you. I hope that you've all been well and another week has passed by and we're back on air, alhamdulillah. I hope everyone had a good week this week. Whatever trials and tribulations you may be going through, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for you and that you remain steadfast and patient throughout all of the struggles that you have. And also please, of course, remember those those Muslims that are going through struggles. At the moment we have, of course, the ongoing genocide in Gaza and of course in Sudan as well. So please remember those brothers and sisters in your du'as and also in your sadaqah. Okay, so brothers, sisters, sorry, my apologies. We are again on another day here, another show with me, and I want to go through a quick review of my week and just catch up on some of the things that have been going on and some of the things that I have witnessed and experienced. So without any further ado, let's crack on. So anyway, this week, whilst at work, we normally get a bulletin from work, just about general news, views, and anything within the council that's going on that we need to be aware about. And one particular thing caught my eye this week as I was scrolling through the news feeds that were coming through. The launch of the British Muslim Trust Helpline Service, which has been set up, of course, in light of all of the increased hate crimes that have been going on around the UK, with the recent kind of uproar of the far right and creating all the animosity throughout the UK. So the British Muslim Trust has been launched as a new helpline service in the wake of the increased anti-Muslim hate in the UK. The helpline is being used to support victims, to help them report their experiences in a safe environment in the fight against anti-Muslim hate. It is essential that victims feel comfortable and confident reporting the prejudice, discrimination and hate crimes they've experienced. So you can access the helpline here via a website, email, SMS, WhatsApp and live chat. And the website here is britishmuslimtrust.co.uk. So if you, a member of the Muslim community, have any issues or hate crime reports to have, or anything that you feel confidential that you want to discuss on a private matter, you can get in touch with British Muslim Trust, and they will be it's a free phone charge operating between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. So you can contact them and somebody will be there to advise you or even discuss with you or have a conversation with you about some of the issues that you're facing and some of the experiences that you may have come across. So that was something new to me, and it's unfortunate that we are living in a climate where such a service does exist, and as much as I see it being a bit of a reactionary thing, the government feels that it's a sense of responsibility that it needs to support the Muslim community here. There's this kind of opportunity for us to, address any of our concerns that we may have. So there you go, brothers and sisters, the launch of the British Muslim Trust Helpline Service. So that was something new that I hadn't come across before. And and something else this week that caught my attention, interestingly enough, and it's often very unfortunate that you have such interactions with people, but being in the public face, putting content out on social media, often people recognize you when you're out and about. And just so happened that I was out one afternoon and I came across somebody that caught my attention and felt the need to confess about her experiences in marriage, unfortunately. And it was a bit unfortunate all round for me listening and for the person obviously that had experienced what she had experienced. And I felt kind of uncomfortable because as a man it's a bit of an uncomfortable situation when a sister approaches you, but again it's unfortunate that we are living in such desperate times that people need to be heard, and we maybe as an offshoot of this there needs to be some kind of platform sounding kind of bar where young women can go, sisters can go and have these conversations with other people that can support them through these difficult times. And whether it be a man or a woman, anyone who's just experienced a divorce, who's gone through a divorce, who's separated from their partner, or has moved out of their family home, it's a very difficult time. It's a very hard time. A lot of things are going through your head. There's a lot of emotional turmoil going through your whole, your whole head and everything like that. And it's a very destabilizing process. It's very hard to find yourself, especially based upon your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, I'm not questioning anyone's relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's a difficult time for anyone, regardless of where your predisposition lies. And after hearing this experience, I thought it's important that I'm not here to name and shame anyone or anything like that, but I think we know it goes on around us, and often we don't hear about it because we are living in our own little lives, and more than often, whatever lifestyles we lead or whatever home that we've established, we may not be aware of the people's struggles out there, and it's difficult because that day when I heard this news, it did leave a bit of a scar on me, and I went home and you carry that burden of somebody else's kind of pain and somebody else's struggle, and you think about it, and it sits with you for a while because it's not something you can easily digest and ignore. Rather, I thought to myself, what advice can I give on the situation? What, as a person, for me in the position that I'm in, I felt a sense of responsibility that I need to address in some degree. Again, I'm not here to pass judgment of who was right, who was wrong. It's not the objective of my little kind of presentation here, but more to raise the standards and make us aware. And this is specifically targeted at the brothers, because obviously there was a brother in question, and obviously I want to come from that angle, because me being a husband myself, I have a duty to my wife, and we have our ups and downs, but I hope and pray that I fulfill my duties as best as I can. And if your wife is not satisfied, then I think it's something that needs to open up in dialogue. It needs to be brought to the attention of the husband, and the husband needs to have a mature, an intelligent, a rational kind of conversation with his wife, that he listens to her, takes on board what she has to say, and really takes stock of his own self. And if you are sincere, and if you have fear of Allah, and you have tawakkul in Allah, then brothers, we need to really account ourselves at times. Are we doing justice to our wives? Are we really fulfilling the duties of a husband? Are we looking after our affairs at home, or are we too concerned about the affairs outside our home and less inside the home? And it's a very important juggling act, but it's very critical that we are adhering to Islam, especially when it comes to our lives, because what we've got to understand, brothers and sisters, here is it's not just an impact on you two adults, but the impact also resonates with our children, because our children witness, and I've probably given many presentations on this in previous times, but our conduct at home has repercussions on our children, because they're looking at us. Our children are, they have this trust in the parents, that they have this attachment to their parents, and we are supposed to uphold all of the values that we nurture them to have. And if we're not advocating them, and if we're not the torchbearers of those values and those ideals that we're trying to propagate to our children, then what's going to happen to our children? What are their positions going to be, and how are they going to be influenced? Because if we present a negative portrayal of that, it's going to have a direct impact on them, on our young boys, on our our daughters and our sons. They're going to walk away thinking, what? Look at the way my father is. Look at the way he treats my mother. Is this normal? Is this how a man should treat his wife? In this manner. He's rude to her, or he can be violent towards her and doesn't want to listen to her. These are we need to really think about this, brothers. It's very important, and I want to just bring to your attention some of the ayahs and the reminders from Quran and Hadith, because ultimately we will be accounted, and those of us that are husbands, then we should hold ourselves to account before Allah accounts us, because when we die, we will be accountable for the way we treated our responsibilities, the way we dealt with our wives, the way we dealt with our children. We will be accounted for them, and we will be questioned for them. So we have to really think again about the way we conduct ourselves at home. We must raise a high platform for ourselves to become that person of a high operational level, that if you are the man and you are the husband, you are the father, then you have to operate above everybody else. You can't operate at the level of everybody else. And sometimes when things happen in your house, you have to sometimes step out of that situation, and you have to look at this holistically and strategically and from a very mature perspective, and not become too emotionally entwined with the situation. We have to pass judgment in a very thoughtful way, because we are being judged and we cannot react. It's very dangerous when we react. And one of the things that we need to think about is that if we as a man, if we don't create love, mercy and tranquility in that house, if we don't forgive, if we don't show affection, if we don't kind of address things in a very tranquil way, then we create that temperament in the house. We have young boys that can't control their emotions, their tempers. We have girls who will also express anger and frustration because they see it flying around from the top, and it trickles down through the house. And we see how we are losing generations amongst ourselves, that our young are growing older and they're being impacted by the way their parents have run their homes, the way their parents have had dialogue with each other, being the wife or the husband. So it's really critical. And one of the foundational principles in the Quran, we know, as I mentioned to you, is that how we treat our wives in Islam, because our wives are the home bearers, they're the homemakers. And if we have healthy dialogue with them, then they create a healthy environment in the home. They are good mothers. They are able to raise their children in a positive way. They're able to look after their homes, look after their husbands in the right manner. And it's really critical that us men, we are the defenders and protectors of our wives. And Allah says in the Quran here, and among His signs is that He created you for you spouses from among yourselves, so that you may find tranquility in them. And He placed between you affection and mercy. So Allah is very clearly stating here that the nature of that relationship, the nature of a spouse, what he is to the other and what she is to him, that we are comforters of each other. We are not here to dig knives into our wives or into our husbands and cut them up and take out their organs. That's not the nature of the relationship between the husband and wife, but rather we are here to create harmony, a harmonious environment, so then our children, when they grow up, they will remember those fond times, and they will carry that psychological and emotional bearing into their lives going forward. And that's very important. And this verse establishes the emotional and spiritual foundation of marriage, not domination or servitude, but sakina, tranquility, mawadda, love, and rahmah, mercy. And this is important, brothers and sisters, because I'm targeting brothers. I'm targeting